These emails that go all over the country and to our listenership do just that. They don't close BAI down, but it does begin to eat into our ability to sustain ourselves. Yeah. I had my landlord come to me with an email from Stephen Brown asking me, what's this about?
WBAI programmer Mimi Rosenberg spoke out against Brown's attacks.
Whether it's characterizations about apes or towering black men that conjure up the most vulgar images that were propagated in the birth of a nation and are still rooted in our body politic, whether it's jeopardizing an individual's livelihood, libeling and slandering the organization, demeaning it, driving away donors, indeed coming up with statements that are actionable, definitely prima facie case of defamation here.
Even Patty Heffley, a former member of ListProg and still a strong ally, said,
First of all, I will say that I find Steve Brown, many of his statements to be completely insensitive, and they are rather offensive to a lot of different people for a lot of different reasons.
Heffley proposed an amendment which would add board training to the motion.
So I'm saying that we need board training. That could, some of that, there's been a lot of talk of fiduciary and all the other problems. So I think that, we've really never had board training. We had a little bit one time. And perhaps, people really understood their responsibilities. That might actually help. So that's my amendment.
The notion that a member of this board needs training to know not to be racist, not to malign people's characters, not to talk about the staff in a disrespectful and obnoxious way. I mean, it would be bad enough if it was just a matter of name-calling and high-pitched accusations, but accusations that often as not are not even based in any facts.
Steve Brown was recently highlighted in a New York Times article about a chateau owned by him, which was literally shipped from France and reassembled in the Long Island town of Brookville years before he purchased it. According to the article, the estate is worth nearly $7 million. Eddie Ellis, producer of the WBAI Prison Issues program, On the Count, characterized the long-running campaign against WBAI program director Bernard White in a 2004 forum, which also described the campaign Brown and his allies waged against the then general manager, Don Rojas, who later resigned.
We have to mobilize and energize our forces because our opposition is well organized and well financed. You know the name Steve Brown. He's put up a lot of money in terms of designing websites, printing literature, sending out mailings, and constantly putting pressure on all of the people who feel disgruntled, who have an ego, need for power, and who feel threatened by the fact that this station more and more reflects the demographics of New York, the city of New York, the state of New York, and the influx and inclusion of people of color.
The following scenes are from a tribute that was held for Bernard White this summer by a media watch group called CMOTAP, short for the Committee to Eliminate Media Offensive to African People. For 20 years, the Queens, New York-based organization has been actively confronting various members of the local and national media for presenting negative portrayals of black people. Mimi Rosenberg, producer of WBAI's program Building Bridges, our community and labor report, characterizes the split at the station, saying Bernard White is the victim of racist attacks.
I woke up and I got my paper this morning, a paper, and it says a girl wept yesterday on a Gaza beach as an errant, soft word, right? An errant Israeli shell killed 7 of the same family, and then the Israelis stopped shelling, so the 30 other Palestinians could be attended to. Pam Africa, all you folks out there, You need to know something. You need to know truth. I could talk about fishing with Bernard. I could talk about our food fest and stuff and what a gentle, lovely man he is. But I will tell you what you need to know. You better protect him. You better protect him. He's been accused of anti-Semitism because he speaks about the brutality of occupation of the Israelis. You better protect him because it's not about 200 different attitudes at our station. It's about an ideological perspective of white supremacy. Bernard is an individual, but he exists, as we all do, in the womb of history in a contextual situation. And he is in jeopardy. And he's in jeopardy as our network, as our station is, from white power, from white supremacy, because he talks about this.
Bernard White is widely respected by many in the WBAI community and is one of the station's best on-air fundraisers. At the CMOTAP tribute, a community activist, Anthony McCall, talks about White's dedication as he presents the award.
Bernard White was a freedom fighter before he ever heard of WBAI, and certainly before he came to WBAI. When he came there, he brought that consciousness, that undying love of his people, that love that we remember Kwame Ture, that we remember Che Guevara, that we remember Amilcar Cabral for. That's the undying love that Bernard White brought to WBAI. When he became the program director after the loss of one of our great and beloved comrades, there was very little other choice to be made. Lombe made that point earlier. I ask you to ponder very quickly, if not Bernard, who? Keep that in mind as we go forward, because he will continue to be a freedom fighter tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow.
That was Anthony McCall talking about WBAI Program Director Bernard White.
We have a lot of work to do at BAI. There's a lot of work to do because we're entering into a very important period, a very dangerous period, a period in which all the rules are being changed. And what was illegal at one time is now legal. People can be snatched off the street for no reason at all and given no reason for their incarceration, and they can stay as long as the state wants them to. And historically, when those things happen, it happens to us. It happens to poor people, it happens to people of color. So we need to continue to have at WBAI the kind of leadership that recognizes that and begins to structure an organization that is going to continue to tell truth to the people regardless of what the consequences are.
Listeners who became paid members of WBAI before the September 1st, 2006 deadline will be eligible to vote in this fall's election for the local station board. For more information about the Justice and Unity campaign, go to www.justiceunity.org or call 212-591-2111. That's 212-591-2111. This is John Riley reporting for the Battle for Progressive Media.
You're right. You say too much, too loud, too long. You want to steal the show, steal everything in sight. You would sing